Hello, everyone, and welcome to the part one of a 6 series back to basic the great Reactor team. We've got some really exciting hacks to show you and getting started with Visual Studio Code. So before we start, you can actually go onto the Meetup site. There is some nice links you can do, and I'm going to be using really just no slides. I know it's kind of like getting me a little bit nervous then, but I'm going to have no slides. We're just going to do back to basics and getting started with the great tooling that we have. So you can follow suit. I've got my nice little terminal here. You can go https aka.ms/basics-java, and that's going to bring you to the Visual Studio Code Java getting started tutorial. And I'm going to go through some of that material there. I'm also going to show you some of the nuances around the ins and outs and the bowels of exactly how awesome this tooling is, though. So let's start first with what you came here for, Java and Maven. So I've got a Macintosh. I know the irony of Java developer working at Microsoft on a Macintosh is not lost on me. And I've already pre-set up with brew. So brew install Java. I've already got that running there. And I've chosen 3 different versions of Java: Java 8, Java 11, and Java 15, according to the tool sets and what I'm trying to do. So if I go Java version, Java version, the dash actually came up there. You can see there I've got Java 1.8. And how I set that up is if I go into Nano, let's go to CD Home, and this is on my Macintosh, but you could also use this on your Windows. And if I go Nano .bash profile, bash profile, you'll see there that I've actually set up my Java home path, which is great, and it allows me to switch and swap between the different Java versions that I've got. So let's go and let me get out of that. You know, when I'm going to go to Purgatory, it's going to be stuck in Nano or VI. Let's go exit there. So I've got my Java version there, and I've also got Maven that I set up in my path, and I can run those 2. So that's the first 2 steps that you want to do. You want to set up Java, you want to set up Maven so you can actually run it on command line path, and we can be using Java 1.8 as we go through here. Now, if you also want to know on Mac, you know, all of the different installs, there are a few commands you can use to get all of those. Where is Java installed? So if I just go clear here, and I can run there libexec java-home. This is a nice thing that Mac has, -v, and it'll give me a list of all of the Java installs. And this is very difficult to manage, and we're going to see how Visual Studio Code allows you to manage. I've got about 6 different versions of Java locally on my PC. So let's start first. I'm going to go into my dev folder here, and I'm going to create, let's just go into the Reactor folder in dev, make sure that there's nothing there. And I'm going to clone the sample project that we're going to be using throughout this, and also how to get started. Notice that I haven't really used an IDE just yet. So I'm going to paste this in here, and this is the Spring Pet Clinic. Now, throughout the 6 series that we're going to do, a lot of our series are going to be using the Pet Clinic to drive examples, even on Azure. You can see there, git clone, http github.com, and it's one of our partners, Pivotal, created the Spring project, springpetclinic.git. So we've got that, and it's going to clone it into a directory called spring-pet clinic. And this has got everything you need and to drive our discussions around using Visual Studio. So it's done there, and if I go ls, you'll see there Pet Clinic. So let's go into Spring Pet Clinic. Spring Pet Clinic tab, and you'll see there it's got a maven.cmd or maven.w bash script. It's got a POM, a source folder, and then also a Docker Compose if you want to run a local MySQL instance. So we can build this all now, Maven, and I want to do package, and I want to skip the test because we don't have too much time here. And you'll see there, it should take you a little bit longer when you do Maven package skip test, a little bit longer, because I already download all the Maven dependencies into my local Maven repository, and it should be done now. So that was pretty quick, and I can start it now. Also, I can go Maven Spring Boot : run, and this will run a local instance here. Now, Rory, why do I need an IDE? You showed me everything that I need here, but the problem is, if I close and cancel that process, I have to do it violently with a kill command, because I'm creating it out of. So let's go into that folder there. Let's go into localhost port 8080, and this is the Spring Pet Clinic. I can go to find owners here, and I can get a list of owners, and it's using a built-in H2 database. You can actually use MySQL, but we're not going to do that right now. So if I close it there, Command Z, you'll see there, if I go ps/ef grep/I Java, it's still got the Java process running there, and I'm going to have to manually kill that to get it stopped, else it's going to bind to the port that I'm using. So I'm going to copy that there, and I'm going to go kill. So we're going to go kill. And I always like killing process. It always feels so cathartic. Kill/none, that process there. Shutdown complete. And there's another way to actually do that in an easier way. You can obviously use a IDE to rather manage that, or you can just kill your terminal process there. Let's open up another terminal there and maximize that, and it should be dead as a doornail now. So let's go Command plus, and you can see why IDEs are important, because I don't want to have to kill my process just to stop it. So let's go look in how we can get started with the Visual Studio Code. So the first thing we want to do after we've killed our process is we want to install Visual Studio Code. And if you go through to that link that I sent you before, you'll see that there's something called the language pack. So let's open up Chrome here, and let's make it bigger. And you can install the language pack. And what the language pack includes is everything. You can see there, language pack for Windows, Mac, and it includes everything. It's just a zip file that you'll see the downloads there. It includes your code, your Visual Studio Code, puts it into your path, and it allows me just to do code, and then I can do dot for the current folder. It doesn't include all the extensions. We're going to go through 1 or 2 extensions it does include, but it includes everything that you need to get started with Java. So we're going to do that in the same folder that we have our Spring Pet Clinic. So let's go pwd, make sure we're there. We're going to go to dev, reactor, and we want to go to Spring Pet Clinic, and then we want to go code dot, and that will open up our browser there. Sorry, our Visual Studio Code. Don't worry, spell checker. We don't need to worry about that. And you'll see there that it's also opened up it didn't actually open up the project, but I'll go in and I'll open up that project for us. So let's go here, file, open up, and I want to go into dev reactor, and I want to open up the Spring Pet Clinic project. And what should happen here is, okay, so let's clone that again. It did not like that. I think I was trying to do too many things at the same time. So let's show you how to clone it from here. Copy, and we're going to clone it from this folder here, clone from URL, and we're going to clone it basically into our dev folder. And you'll see there it's cloning. So this is a nice way that you can actually get started. And let's open a new window, and you'll get your nice window here with all of your projects there. Wow, this did not want to work. Let's cancel that. But it did not want to work. Let's close those processes, and let's start again. Actually, I've got this already set up here. Open recent. Let's see what we got here. And I have actually done that before. Let's go there. I think I closed the wrong process. The PS, let me quickly go in and kill it. So let's go here, ps/ef grep/I Java. And everyone wants someone to succeed and overcome difficulty. So let's go kill/none. This is what happens when you violently kill things there. And okay, cool. ps/ef grep/I and Java. Nothing's happening there. So let's go pwb. Let me open up my browser extension there. I'm going to close that, and let's go into Visual Studio Code. And we want to go File, Open Recent, and we want to open up the folder there for Spring Clinic. There we go. Wow. Okay. So let me actually close it there for a second, and I want to close. Well, this is a good example of the processes and why you need an IDE. Let's go find that process there, and then we're going to go in and kill it. Else we can always use IntelliJ around that, which is defeating the purpose. And let's go through, and nothing actually is started. Wow, okay. Let's close our terminal there. Let's start again. Open up new terminal, and we want to go into dev, cd reactor, cd spring pet clinic, and we're going to go code dot. There we go. Yay, we all like a hero and someone who's overcome difficulty. So that's also why it's very difficult when you're busy killing the processes to kill the right process. What I've given you is a textbook example of why you want to use an IDE. So now that we've got our Spring Pet Clinic here, we want to exclude some of the files from Git, and I want to make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, I errantly probably killed the process that was monitoring the IDE, and it went all haywire. So I've got my actual project structure here. I've installed Visual Studio Code, and now I can actually see what's going on, because what it's done here, and you'll remember that I didn't know how to kill the process. If I go into a Java file, it's going to create a Java language server for me in the background. So if I go to owner and I go to owner controller here, and I click on here, you'll see here, as I click here, it's got a little Java sign there, and it's busy running Maven in the background. And the Java there is an in-process Java server. It basically runs Java outside the IDE. So if it does crash, like we saw when I was trying to recover, it doesn't take down any of your services. So if you go into here and we go PS, and don't worry, I'm not going to kill it now, grep/I language dash server, you'll see there that it's actually got the boot app language server there, and it's running the Red Hat VS Code language server there that is supplied by Red Hat. And I can know this because if I go into my Visual Studio Code and I click on a different file type, let's go in and click on let's go less file here, and I click on here, it's on JavaScript. You see there that it actually opens up less. And if I go into my files there and I grep language server, I actually have now more than one language server there, because I've also got the less language server here. You can see there I've got the less language server. So every time you install a language server, and this is the Java language server, it creates an out-of-process language server that you can use, and you don't have to worry about all of the processes running in the background, because it is all managed by the IDE. So let's start with the IDE. So I've got 6 or 7 different categories I want to show you, and I'm going to use the Spring Pet Clinic to drive those discussions. And I'm going to use typically the owner controller here to look at some of those examples. So the first thing I want to show you is the language server, which I've already done. But with the language server, you also get a lot more. Now, every time I click on that, it's actually sending JSON to and from the language server to tell you what the IDE is actually doing. And with that, you get a lot more other features. So if I wanted to, I can mouse over there, or I can actually go options, and you can get through command click there. You'll see there that it changes, and what it's doing there with changing, it's going to definition, type definition, implementation, and this is navigation, so code navigation through all the different fields. So go to definition, and it will go into, if I've got the source available, in the definition of that, and allow me to go in and out of my source navigation. It also allows me to do something called autocompletion. So if I wanted to see what fields are available, I can actually go set disabled fields there, and I can go command, I think it's command space. No, control space. This is what happens when option space. No, command space. And must be control space. Let's go control space. There we go, control space. I'm still in Windows mode. And then you'll see there that it gets all of the available fields there. But there's one step further that it can actually go. You can do something called AI code snippets. So we're going to go through AI assisted development, but you can use AI code snippets. So if I want to do a printout there, I can go sys out, and you'll see there that it gives me the output for all of that. And one of the things that it gives me is a print to standard out code snippets. So you can click that and it'll print out and it'll give you that code snippet. You can actually set that up yourself. But if I also wanted to use the AI Visual Studio autocode, I can go data binder, and then I can go data binder dot. And you'll see the minute I do dot, something miraculous happens. Data binder dot set binder dot set. It will fill all that out. But if I'm running in a team, what I can actually get also is something called AI autocompletion. I'm going to show you the AI autocompletion on a different method here. On the model, so I can go model.put. You'll see there it actually gives me a star. What it's doing, it's picking up all of the common features that other developers use and it's going into the cloud, the Azure cloud, getting all those features, and then telling you what you should put there. And it knows that most developers put there, and you can use that in your teams. You can actually create a model in your teams to say most of my team uses that, and that's what we call AI assisted development. And you can kind of use that to drive a lot of your development, and that's a completion list ranked by the AI. So we've gone through code navigation, auto completion, refactoring. So you can actually go there and you can go refactor. So if I want to do, I can assign statement to a new field, to a method, and I can push it out. And this is great, really, when you want to do that daisy chain downwards with a lot of refactoring. All the time, my Java process engine is running there. I don't have to worry about it, and I can start to stop the processes if I wanted to. So once we have that, let's start the debugging process. So I want to create a debugging breakpoint there. I just break it on that model, and then I can also do on the breakpoint, I can set something called a conditional breakpoint. So I can go edit breakpoint, and I can create an expression that will only break on a certain condition. I'm going to use this as a normal breakpoint. Now I don't have to do spring boot -run. I can just go run here, and it will be clever enough to scan all my source to find me the main method that I need to use. And the main method actually is the pet clinic application there, and it's just a very simple main method there. But I don't want to worry about that. I just want to go run, and for it to do that, so I can go run and debug, find that main method. You can see there. Do you want to continue, proceed, syntax error? I think I broke it. Let me undo that there. I think I did some coding there. Let's see what I changed. Owner controller. I'm going to undo this. This is a great example. Let's go undo that. Discard the changes there. I forgot to actually discard those changes. Let's go back into the source owner controller onto our breakpoint here, and let's go run that now. Run and debug. And you'll see there that it's going to start my process up, my Spring Boot process. I don't have to go and worry about killing it. It's going to bind ideally to the that port, and it's running the Java language server in the background. So if I go into my Chrome browser here, I can actually go localhost 8080, and I've got my Spring Boot browser and my language server and my IDE running at the same time. So if I want to break there, and that is a models put, and this is getting all of the owners, so multiple owners found, and it's going to put it into that result object. So I'm going to go into my result object, find owners, find all of the owners, and you'll see what happens. It breaks on that method there, and you can see there it's broken in that method. and I can go inspect that method. I can go say, what is results? And the nice thing about it is I can go hack results. So if I go into results here, you'll see there local variable owners. I can go in and change that to, well, I'm in Johannesburg. And when I do that owner, and it will change it in process there. And if you change the method, so if I actually go and change the method, what you'll see here, watch it as it reloads. Sys out, and then I want to go results. That's there, and it will just check that out. It actually hot loads there. So this is Spring being very clever at hot loading, but you also have something called, if you see there, dynamically reload the method. And so not only will Spring try to do it, but your IDE will also do it. So I've got my system on print, and we should actually get that now. If I go into my find the owners here, it'll break, but it'll also print out. Now I can check, I can step over, and let's go step over, and it prints out all of the owners. And I can also step into, I can run to cursor. It's your classic kind of breakpoints that you can do. You can take away the breakpoint there. So it's got all the nice IDE breakpoint features. And remember, all of this is covered in the Java tutorial that I said, the aka.ms/basics-java. So that's your debugging. And when I close this, I don't have to worry about the processes running here, and everything should also be stopped here. So if I go ps-ef grep Java, the only thing I should have is my language server running there. Let's go ps ps-ef :grep-i Java. And then I've got my language server there, and you can see the boot language server, and I don't have any of the processes running, and everything is being run by my IDE. So that's debugging, and why it's important, because what was actually debugging is the language server. The process is running in the language server. It breaks, it dies, it doesn't affect my my IDE. So let's also look at unit tests. So I've got my owner controller here, and I want to run some unit tests. So I can go into my test runner, and this includes the the Java language pack, and I can go find the test suite. So you can see there, I've got my test suite, and if I go to the owner controller test here, and these are all set up for you, and you can run test ng or JUnit test. And I can run all of the tests for all of the processes. Or I can run the test for a class. I can go run tests, or I can run the test for each individual method. So if I go here, test init creation form, I can start that up, and I can just start with that. So and all of that is running with Maven behind the scenes, which is great news. I don't have to worry about any of that. So the final thing I want to show you is the project view, a really new enhancements that I have here for the project view. So you've got the project view, and this is a lot of classic IDEs, and this came really recently. So I can go into my main methods, and it'll give me all of the kind of view, the holistic view of your project in Java projects there. And this comes with the standard installs for the Java IDE language pack. Now, I know what you're saying, Rory, you promised me a little bit more than this. I want you to show me also how to run the micro profile and start a micro profile in Spring project. Now, to do that, you need two extensions installed there. So you need the micro profile extension there. Let's go profile. So that is the micro profile starter, and you also need the Spring starter. And what that allows you to do, if you go into here, I'm going to go file, and no, sorry, I want to close all of that. So close folder, and now I'm starting from scratch. I want to go Explorer. I want to go file. Let's go here. No, there we go. Create Java project. And I'm going to go create Java project, and it's going to give me the option to create a Maven, Spring Boot, Quarkus, or micro profile. So I'm going to click on micro profile. I'm going to go com.example demo. I'm going to select 3.3. I'm going to choose Wildflower and Java 8. I'm not going to have any of those services there. I'm going to click OK. And this is a great way. I'm going to just do it straight into that folder there. I'm going to call that new and micro profile. So create that, generate into this project. It's going to generate my entire project for me. And I can actually go in and run that in with my Maven commands here and go Maven, let's just exclude that. And that's a great way to get started with a micro profile and without having to go through the Git release though. And this is really everything that I wanted to show you. You can actually generate the project from Git. You can actually run your Java language server, and you saw the real power of the language server. I didn't have to worry. As I got into my IDE, as long as it was running, I didn't have to worry about anything. I showed you the debugging, the test runners, how to also get started with Maven. Maven runs in the background with everything, the project manager for Java, and then we touched on IntelliCode with the AI completion, and then I showed you some new features here on how to get started with microprofile and Spring Starter. So thank you so much for actually coming today. These are meant for bite-sized treatment. We've got so many great hacks and nuances and great sessions to show you. So do go into the akka.ms. Let's go back into that. And that is, we want to go into the first command that we ran there, and that is the akka.ms/basics.java. Let's clear that out. Clear. So go into akka.ms basics of Java, and also on the meetup site, my colleague Emma has started a cloud skills challenge. Now, every time that we go through that, we're going to look at the leaderboard, and we're going to identify those individuals who have put so much passion into doing the Java at Microsoft path. And I personally, I'm going to tweet the name of each of those individuals who have on the top of the leaderboard, and do a little bit of an engagement with them to say, how did you enjoy that path? And just get that kind of community going with that Java at Microsoft path. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Reactor and Emma for facilitating this session. I'll see you at the Cloud Skills Challenge that we're going to host. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.